Okay, quick tutorial today on what is GitHub. Okay, by the end of this, I hope that you understand the fundamentals of GitHub. Okay, in the most basic sense, GitHub is just a website where we can store files. Okay, put files in there and GitHub keeps them safe. Great, right? So what's so special about GitHub? GitHub specifically is for developers, specifically software developers. Okay, and software developers write lots of code files, and these code files need to be saved, but they also need to be shared with other developers. They need to be modified. They need to be deployed, which is like building and then putting it out there so that people can actually use the software, or packaging them, or shipping it around. So all of these need a tool, which is GitHub, to be able to share and collaborate. All right, so what's up with the name GitHub? So Git is actually a sophisticated software program that aims at keeping track of files and lets multiple collaborators edit files in an organized way. So we'll get to see how that works. Okay, so here's the very basics of Git. Every Git project is organized into a repository. Okay, you can think of it as like a project. Some repositories have multiple software programs, and then some repositories just have one. So it kind of depends on what you want to do. Maybe your company, all of their UI or user interface files are contained in just one repository. You can kind of organize it how you want, but that's one basic element of a Git is a repository. Then we have branches. You can think of branches like branches on a tree. Okay, here's branches, and every Git repository has a default branch. Okay, and you can think of that as like the trunk. So all of the changes that get made on other branches that you want to keep get merged back into the trunk, and we'll do something called a pull request. Okay, we'll get into that. No need to understand it right now. So let's do a very simple example to see what GitHub's like maybe in the real world. All right, so here's a very simple example I think most people can relate to. So here's you in grade school, and here's the rest of your classmates. Here's your teacher, and your teacher, of course, is going to assign a quiz. But what's unique about this quiz is that you only need to return one copy of the quiz done by the entire class tomorrow. Okay, so it's kind of a class quiz. So how would you do this in real life? You'd probably use something like Google Docs. But since we're talking about Git, let's see how this would work in Git. So naturally, you talk to the smartest kid in the class to just complete the quiz for you because they're going to do it the best. And this kid says, no way, let's use GitHub instead, okay? So let's see how this would actually work in GitHub. All right, so here is my GitHub repository for the class quiz. So let's say the smart kid sets up the repository and uploads this blank quiz for the rest of the class to fill out. Okay, and they commit this file. That's a Git terminology here. So every commit, like, is every change or addition, anything that changes on a branch is on a commit. And it has a unique alphanumeric code here, which is called a SHA hash, that is unique for every single commit. So you can get into that later. But just know that each commit is unique so that you can trace back and look at different additions and versions of files. Okay, so here's the class quiz. The rest of the class needs to collaborate on this, right? To add in the different answers. So what you can do is go here and you can create a branch off of the main branch, because that's the trunk. And let's say it's Mike's edits. Okay, we create a new branch here. Usually you do this all with the command line, but we're doing it all in the user interface today just because it's the basics. And here's the class quiz. I can go to the README, which is what the document is. And so I guess I need to be on Mike's edits branch here to edit it. Click edit file. I know 3 of the answers here. I'll just paste those in, but I'm not sure about the 4th one. Okay, so I'm going to commit my changes, and then you need to put a message every time you commit. And so now you can see my branch here, Mike's edits, has these 3 answers that I've submitted. Now I can go to pull requests, do a request to merge my branch's changes into the main branch. So I can create pull request. All right, so this is the pull request. So I'm trying to merge Mike's edits here into main. So you can see the files changed. These pluses are the additions to the file. So we have these 3 things were being added. Okay, so I can go here and merge my pull request. All right, now it's been merged. Usually you'd need approvals from other developers, and they'll make comments on things that might need to be changed, but this is a very simple example. So let's go back to the main branch here, class quiz, and you can see my changes are now merged into that trunk main branch, default branch here. Okay, you can see one is still not filled in, but then you can rinse and repeat this same process. Another developer will branch off, or classmate in this case, will submit the answer here, and then finally we'd have completed quiz to be able to turn it to the teacher. Anyways, that's it. Very simple tutorial today about the basics of GitHub. There's obviously a lot more that I did not go into, but you can definitely check out other videos that are on YouTube and other courses out there. There's probably thousands. Anyways, thanks a lot.